Hello, everyone. So this is actually a rebroadcast of a video I did previously. I think I have a better audio setup now, so we can get a bit more clear what I'm talking about. So I'm presenting quick and dirty PowerShell modules. So as your scripts get more advanced, you'll want to start building them into modules. You get a few advanced functions here and there. The complexity of your projects gets larger, and a module is the right way to combine lots of functions together into one package. And so I'm going to go through a quick and dirty script I have up on my blog. So let me see if I can pull that up right now. Oh, there we go. I'll post this video up here and replace the one that's currently on the site. But I've got a script here that walks through how to create a module. And with that said, I already copied and pasted it into my ISE window here. So the way this module works is we create the basic structure, and in that structure is a functions folder that holds all of my advanced functions. Well, let's dive into it. So let me go to my profile PowerShell folder. And in here, I probably already have a couple modules. Actually, let's create this folder first. I do ls modules. We just created this other folder with a function subfolder in here. I have a couple others that we're not going to worry about those guys at the moment. So the first thing we want to do is create our module manifest. This is just the details about our module. It's an important file because it's going to define the root module scripts that loads when the module loads. So here I'm just creating a hash table that's going to contain these parameters. And if I just run the hash table, we can see just nothing special about it other than it has exactly what I put in it. I'm going to splat it to the new module manifest. This basically keeps my code nice and tidy. And there we go. So if I do, scroll down a little bit more here. All right. So if we do a ls modules other, it created this PSD1 file. If I go ISE modules other PSD1, take a look at it. It's basically a giant hash table that contains the values I specified. It creates this GUID automatically, like every module needs a unique one, but this does it for me, so I don't have to worry about it. The author, odds and ends. So basically, the attributes that we specified here were the ones that went into the field. And these are known ones like root module, author, and description. So I'm not making up any random ones here, but those are specific to a module manifest. It can be this simple. So nothing special here, other than the root module is going to be a second file I'm going to create here in just a moment. So I've got the PSD1, which is the manifest that's pointing to our root module, which is a PSM1. So as we scroll into this one here, I've got a chunk of script here that we're just going to create that module, the module loader. So my module loader is nothing more than a command that figures out where I'm at, so I know what the root folder of my module is. I verbose out the importing functions, and I'm gonna list every, I'm using this here to list every PowerShell file in the functions folder. Then I exclude everything that has the word .tests in it. If you're using Pester, which eventually you'll want to use it, this keeps them from executing when the module loads. Because on the next line, I walk through every single script and I dot source the function. So yeah, so I'm basically dot sourcing the function to execute it into the scope of the module. And then I add a write verbose just so that when I'm debugging, I can see kind of what was imported. So we're going to load this in this variable. And just very simple script here that's going to load all of our functions. I set the content of our PSM1. And if I do directory listing, now I have both my manifest and my module loader. So the next step is, let's put a function in our functions folder, because right now it's empty. I've got nothing in that folder. So I have a bare bones basic function here that is test other. We do the commandlet binding, so it's advanced. I need an empty param block because I defined it as a commandlet. But it's going to do the right output, hello world. Does it need to be an advanced function? No, it doesn't. That's a great habit to get into now, so I go ahead and add it. So let's execute this so that our function variable, our content, is exactly what we want it to be. Looks good. I take my set content and I export it, execute it to put that variable into this new file we're going to create, which is our test other.ps1. So as I run this, and we now list within our functions, we have our test other ps1 function. It looks like I should be able to import the module and run our function. So I do a get module now. I got a couple of basic ones loaded. Nothing fancy here. So if I run my import module, I got verbose output. So it's saying it's importing the functions. Beautiful. So now I do a get module. My other is now listed, and if I look over here, in my exported commands, my test other is listed as a command that's exported. So we execute our function, hello world. So we have just created a module by walking this script. So I'm not doing anything too complicated, you know. So from the top, I create the folders. So I create the folder. I create the folder for the module named other. I create a subfolder called functions. In that, I create a new module manifest The important parameter is the root module, which will point to /other. So this needs to be the same name as the folder, which is an important detail. And this PSD1 will also have that same name. So I create my root manifest. I then dump in my module loader to create my PSM1 file. I create a test function, and then I import it. That is a module. What's nice is I can now put any PS1 file I want in that functions folder, and it will import those as well. So I called this first module an other module. So as I'm building scripts and tools, I might put, I don't know, a dozen, 12, 13, 15 functions in this generic module. And when I see a pattern or a grouping, I'll just create a new module with a specific name. Maybe it's Active Directory, maybe it's vCenter, and I will just move in the group of functions that make sense to that other module. And if I reload my modules or start a new PowerShell session, those functions are easy to move between modules. So I'm going to wrap this up right here, because that's really all I wanted to point out was quick and dirty, here's a module. And